Your Excellencies, Honourable Ministers, representatives of regional and international organisations, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's an honour to be invited to speak to you today. And while I can't be with you in person, of course I hope to have the opportunity to meet many of you face to face in the near future. This event takes place at a pivotal moment, both for Africa and for the future of the global internet. In recent years, the internet and data-driven technologies have transformed the lives and opportunities of millions of Africans. From big corporations to coffee shops, bookshops and restaurants, digital tools are now central to how Africans do business. By 2025, the digital economy is expected to contribute up to $300 billion to Africa's GDP, representing 10% growth per year. And we are on the cusp of a new era of technologies, collectively known as the metaverse, that has the potential to create even more social and economic opportunities in the years ahead. The metaverse is the next phase of the internet, a more immersive 3D experience that incorporates technologies like virtual, augmented, and mixed reality. Its defining quality will be a feeling of presence, like you are right there with another person or in another place. At the same time, the borderless and largely free internet that you and I use every day is under threat. Some governments are building digital barriers at their borders and imposing greater control over the internet inside them, creating rules and infrastructure to monitor and censor users, and partitioning the internet in a series of national and regional silos. Even in many open democratic societies, including here in Africa, there is talk of data sovereignty and plans to impose data localization, requiring citizens' data to be stored domestically and placing significant limits on the flow of data across borders. It is appropriate that we're having this conversation on the third anniversary of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, because free trade and the free flow of data go hand in hand. The ability to connect across borders, to buy and sell, collaborate and share, is the magical quality that makes the digital economy the incredible growth engine it has become. A recent report by the Mandela Institute looked at the potential impact of data localization policies in a number of African countries and found that, like most protectionist measures, the marginal gains created for some local enterprises and workers would come at the expense of significant economy-wide harms. The clear lesson from the growth of Africa's digital economy is that we should be tearing down walls across the region, not building new ones. And together, we should be taking every opportunity to make sure the benefits of this next wave of technologies are felt across the region. In its infancy, no one could have imagined the overwhelming impact the internet would have on commerce. And it is the same now with the metaverse. The metaverse won't just be built in the glass and steel campuses of Silicon Valley. It will be built all over the world, where talented, creative people live and the public and private sectors work together to foster a spirit of innovation and entrepreneurialism. Africa has the ingredients necessary to be at the heart of this new technological era. Companies like Meta, we can play our part by continuing to create tools and products that help Africans make their voices heard, build communities, and start and grow businesses. And we will do that through strategic investments like the opening of our office in Lagos to provide a base for African engineering talent, and by investing in infrastructure like the 2Africa cable, the world's longest subsea cable that will bring more bandwidth to Africa than all the existing subsea cables combined. And policymakers can play their part too by continuing to encourage the development of skills, fostering an atmosphere of innovation and entrepreneurialism, removing barriers to trade, and crucially, by keeping the free flow of data across borders open. Thank you for listening. I hope the discussion you have today is productive, and I really look forward to meeting you soon.
Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank the African Union, AfroChampions, and other stakeholders for convening this seminal Boma of Africa at this critical juncture in world affairs. It is particularly apt that the curators of this all-important event are not limiting the horizon to Africa and the immediate concerns of our people and their leaders. You have chosen to connect the affairs of today with Africa's ongoing and long-standing quest to attain Agenda 2063's high benchmark of a prosperous continent at par with other global powers. The challenges that have beset the global economy may have been fueled by temporary crises such as the COVID pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine conflict. But these challenges are still a wake-up call to Africa that there are deep structural gaps in the global economic and political architecture that can frustrate its rise unless serious concerted efforts are made to plug them. Sir Nick has talked about the technology opportunity for the continent as a way of navigating out of these treacherous waters. No one who has followed our policy journey in Ghana can doubt our total commitment to the technological approach to development. We, of course, take this cue that there are serious issues of data, talent, regulation, and education that we need to take seriously as a continent if the massive shifts currently underway, such as the fast emergence of a new type of internet, are to benefit rather than further marginalize Africa. I can assure Sir Nick that we are very mindful of these potential pitfalls and are investing in both the institutions and infrastructure that will enable us to both leapfrog our infrastructure and education system limits and rapidly advance the regulatory capabilities we need to deal with complex challenges like balancing sovereignty and efficiency as we become a data-driven economy. In a number of African countries, including Ghana, we have successfully developed new identity infrastructure that will transform credit scoring for SMEs to remove the bottlenecks in e-commerce and lay the ground for the modernization of business-supportive government services. We have totally transformed the financial technology landscape and reworked our mobile telecom industry to enable us to take advantage of the 5G revolution and the Internet of Things as they gather pace. We take a cue from what Sir Nick said about the metaverse and the next generation of digital services based on novel, sometimes mind-boggling telepresence and 3D technologies. We host artificial intelligence laboratories for the likes of Google and have worked closely with Twitter and Microsoft to deepen tech talent availability to help us ride these trends. Sir Nick's own Meta, especially Meta's Facebook and Instagram platforms, has grown in leaps and bounds in Ghana and other parts of the continent. They have become sites for political debate and avenues for new business experimentation. But far more must be done if the ongoing global technological shifts are to be favorable to our continent. The likes of Meta, Google, and Amazon must think beyond consumer products and targeted advertising and invest heavily in utility infrastructure on the ground. Their ability to connect with their customers beyond Facebook posts and tweets and to impact their lives depend on this deeper integration into industrial and enterprise infrastructure. There are also broader issues of equity. As much as we recognize that some of the evolving technologies are changing how we do business and bringing down barriers, they also provide the opportunity for us to create the fluid structures and soft infrastructure our SMEs and startups, long isolated from global value chains, need to leapfrog and convert these challenges into opportunities in a broader marketplace shaped by the AfCFTA. Opportunities to create green jobs, to harness our latent creativity of creatives to move from obscurity to prominence must be seized through new technologies. The AfCFTA in particular offers us a unique opportunity to galvanize the African private sector to drive our integration agenda through their cross-border investments of the technological kind. We hope that the deliberations at today's Boma among business and political leaders will lay the ground for a truly strategic undertaking to transcend the current turmoil in the global economy into shock waves we need in Africa for true technological transformation. Because we cannot own the 21st century without such a radical shift in our focus and energies. I thank you all for your attention. May God bless us all.